Actually have crews make initial entry to the west part of the building because there was light smoke showing from the front of the structure, and we thought if we could get it early, we could present ourselves a lot of trouble. But as they made entry, additional crews came in from the south and saw that we had fire, heavy fire visible. So at that point, we made the decision to pull the crews out per department policy and went to a defensive fight. Spent most of the night, obviously, fighting the fire. We still have crews on the scene now. We're using both of our aerial devices simply because there's hot spots, and there's going to continue to be hot spots still probably for a couple of days, to be honest with you, until we can get this building down. And we're just going to try to hit what we can with the aerial devices. Don't want to put any crews inside the building if we can help it. So that's where we're at. We'll be on the scene at least through a good part of today, and we'll kind of see what happens from there. So that's it from the fire perspective.
I think from my perspective, I want to say what a great job the Quincy Fire Department did responding to the fire, all the first responders. I want to thank the Quincy Transit Lines and the Salvation Army for all they did to make sure that we evacuated the Lincoln Douglas building and also made sure people had somewhere to go if they need to evacuate the Hotel Elkton. I think everyone did a great job of staying out of the way and letting the firefighters do their job. And I just can't say enough how impressed I am with our fire department, the way they handled this situation. In terms of the building right now, everybody asks what's the next step. For us right now, it's getting a demolition contractor on scene as soon as possible, one that can handle to begin knocking down this structure. We're going to be, hopefully that will happen by Sunday or Monday. Traffic's going to continue to be closed on 4th Street until we can get that accomplished. And you know, the big question is, I know many people in the community don't want to continue to see this be an eyesore for the next 30 years. And my administration is committed over the next days, weeks, and months to make sure that we maintain the integrity of the square. And that's what we're going to be focused on, and making sure that public safety is first and foremost in our minds.
You guys reached out to contractors already?
We are starting that process now. And like I said, first we have to make sure that the contractors can handle the job to when they can get here. And so we're going to do our best to get somebody on the site as soon as possible.
Have you been in contact with the building owner yet?
We are looking into that now. We have not been in direct contact with him yet, but we are investigating. I know people have been asking about insurance and if he had it or not. We are investigating that right now to see if that insurance is on the property or even maintained.
Do you guys have a cause or investigating the cause right now?
We have investigators on the scene now. We're going to be working closely with PD to take a look at it, but I'm going to be honest with you, with this type of fire and with the danger that we've got there, we're not going to commit a lot of crews to do anything internal. So the reality is this building had no utilities going to it, so there would be no accidental cause, for lack of a better term, so it would definitely be incendiary in nature. It's just a matter of whether it was accidental by the individual or intentional, and I don't know that we'll ever find that out other through working with PD and doing some investigations and interviews with people.
So are you calling it suspicious though, or no? I mean, would you say
I would
that?
say it's certainly incendiary is the term we would use.
Okay.
So there's no known cause for the fire.
And then what about the other buildings? Any other damage or anything to the
I'm not
other
aware of
side
anything. You know, last night we had crews on top of the Lincoln Douglas. We had people monitoring the Gardner Museum all night long, and I think we've been able to prevent anything from happening in that regard. They probably got some smoke inside the Lincoln Douglas, but nothing that would cause any significant damage, I wouldn't think.
Have you been in contact with the other owners of the buildings to see if they have any damage or?
We're working on contacting them now. Like I said, I think throughout the night we were just concerned about containing the fire, and now we're going to talk to them about our plans and what we're going to do and make sure that hopefully they can be open as soon as possible, but also in a way that's safe for their customers and their employees.
What's the traffic route right now for people who are coming in off 57 or across the bridge now? How are they being routed?
They're being routed down to 3rd Street over to York, and then they can go back on 5th or 6th Street from there.
My understanding is that the way the Newcomb was constructed, that there was kind of like a gap between the outer wall and the inner wall. Did that have any effect in helping the fire spread?
I wouldn't say that did necessarily. What helped the fire spread was the sheer nature of the various stages of construction the building was in. I mean, there was a lot of open shafts and windows that were open from one part of the building to the other. That's what contributed to the fire. 'Cause the fire was in the interior of the building, and that's what would have caused it to spread.
Where to start again, Joe?
Well, that's purely speculation at this point. We've heard reports that there was fire visible on the 2nd floor. I really think what they mean is the 3rd floor, but that's what it looked like to the time when we got here.
I'll say when I arrived here last night, there was orange glow in a 2nd-story window, and there appeared to be no fire in that back area where it got really bad. Obviously, that probably somehow spread to that.
Oh yeah, it definitely spread. And like I said, with that portion of that building having already collapsed, that just opened everything up. And when you've got open corridors of travel like that, fire's going to spread, and it's going to spread quickly. So But as far as an actual location, I'm not going to be able to do that necessarily.
Any injuries?
I think we had somebody get something in their eye, but that was about it. So we've been pretty fortunate in that regard. I do want to say real quick, from a safety perspective, our central services crews are working on getting fencing down here. Obviously, this is going to be something people want to come down and take a look at. We need them to respect the barriers that are up. They may only be taped right now, but they're there for their safety. So we need people to stay behind those barriers and respect those the entire time they're out.
Were there troubles last night keeping people away from the building?
The people were pretty good, actually. There weren't any real issues here. Most people congregated in the park, and we were fine.
And were there specific areas you wanted them to stay away from, like you're saying now? Is the same kind of
Stay behind the yellow tape, and that'll be replaced by fencing soon. They need to stay behind the fencing.
Is Lincoln Douglas our residents back in?
Yeah, they were coming back this morning. I think they started moving them back in about 6 o'clock this morning. Adams County Ambulance coordinated with emergency management to take care of that.
And my understanding was the Elkton was never evacuated. It was just the power was turned off.
We shut the power off. We told them that if they'd like to go somewhere, they could go down to the Croc Center. I don't think a lot of people took advantage of that. We only had the power off for a couple hours, and the only reason we did that, due to the utility lines and the poles, the way they're situated in the south side of the building, we had some concerns with the potential for collapse, and we had a large amount of fire, and we had firefighters working back there. So we had to shut off basically a half a city block until that fire risk subsided, and then we turned the power back on. So it was only a couple hours of that.
So with any other building, any other access, the businesses who are in this area can open up if they want to?
People are still going to be able to access the patio and fences, no problem. They're going to be able to access investment planners and all that. So essentially, we're going to fence up to the corners of those buildings. Just keep people out of the immediate vicinity of the Newcomb, and they'll be able to get everywhere else.
I know it's a little process, but having a timetable to keep this building down.
What's that? We don't have a timetable right now. We're working on getting somebody here as soon as possible to start knocking down, the 5th and 4th floor of that building, just to make sure it's structurally safe. That way we can open up 4th Street again. So there's no timetable. Just as soon as possible to get a contractor on site.
Any contact we have with the people who expressed any interest with the RFPs on the process?
We haven't. Like I said, right now, from an administrative standpoint, we're just really concerned about safety and getting a contractor on site as soon as possible.
You think Sunday, Monday, though, you said to get the contractor on site?
We would like to get them started on Sunday if they're available. Obviously, it's all up to who's available and what kind of crews they have. We're going to need a contractor who has a crane available. So it's when they're going to be available to start. We would like it to be as soon as possible, and that way we can open 4th Street back up again and make sure that the building is safe for the surrounding areas.
So when are you anticipating 4th Street closed for the next couple of days? Or
I would probably say at least until Monday morning, if not later. It just depends on how quickly crews can get here to start demolition. It could be a couple more days extended to that if the crews get here, if they can't start till, say, Monday or Tuesday. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yep.